How important is collecting data to your business? Better question, what are you doing with the data that you're collecting? Stay tuned and we'll talk about it. Whether you know it or not, whether it's intentional or unintentional, you are collecting data. Some data is about your customers and your clients when they visit your social media profiles or your website, your Google profile. There's so many ways to collect data. Did you realize that? Better question, if you did realize it, what are you doing with that data? Stay tuned. We'll talk about it. My name is Tia Robertson. I'm the founder of the Black Entrepreneurs Network and the host of the show, Entrepreneur Insider. Thank you for joining me for another episode. In today's featured interview, I talked to Daquan Hall. He is the person that you need to talk to about the data that you're collecting. What does it tell you? How can you use that data to better market your product or your services? Want to know more? Stay tuned and find out. Hello, everyone out in Entrepreneur Insider Land. I am super excited to introduce you to our entrepreneur feature of this week. He is Mr. Daquan Hall, the owner of Learner Market Group, LLC. He's a strategy consultant that helps brick and mortar locations improve customer experiences. He's helped hundreds of small business owners and small businesses for over a decade and is dedicated to improving the lives of entrepreneurs, their families, and their employees. His work helps build wealth for those entrepreneurs in their local communities. So I totally applaud the work that he's doing and am excited to welcome him to the show so you can learn all about him. Welcome, Daquan. How are you doing today?
I'm great. How about you?
I am doing well. Thank you for asking. So, the Learner Market Group is a market research and data analytics company for small business, right? Which came
Yeah.
off your website. I didn't make that up. Okay. All right. So tell us, what exactly does that mean? What do you do?
When I always tell my clients that data is a story, right? It tells us the story of the questions that we can't answer off the top of our head. So if you're working in your business every day, then you kind of have a grasp of the things that your customers need and want. However, once you start to scale up and maybe you have one location at first and then you have two or three, well, now it starts to get harder to get in touch with all of those clients and to manage all of those people and personalities. And that's where data comes in and tells us the story of everything that's going on that we can't answer ourselves anymore.
Love that. That's definitely true. And I see, because sometimes we do, even as just one location or
Right.
one business owner, we kind of struggle, right? So,
Absolutely.
especially when we get more than one and we add people to our team and employees, I definitely understand that. So, why did you start the Learner Market Group LLC?
Well, I started Learner because I fell into consulting, I want to say 8 years ago. Well, 2013, however long that was.
That's right.
I fell into consulting. I always wanted to be a consultant, but I didn't really think I could. And then I got a job as an administrative assistant at a company, and that just happened to be what the company did. And 3 months later, I had worked my way up into actually working with clients. So I started the company because I saw what we were doing at the company was inefficient, and we were incapable of actually meeting the needs of our clients who were small business owners looking to either start or grow the business. So I started Learner as a supplement to the company to be able to work more depthly with my clients.
Love it. Okay. And who is your target audience? I know you mentioned that you work with brick and mortar locations, but what about businesses that have several, like, for example, I'm going to kind of use mine as an example so I don't put any other business on the spot.
Mhm.
So, like the Black Entrepreneurs Network, we have different hubs that are at different times, so different locations, for example. So, even though I don't have a physical location, so would I fall within your target audience, or do you have a specific audience like a McDonald's, franchise because they have a location? That makes sense.
So, who my services work best for are brick and mortar companies, but really it's
Okay.
anybody who has data because
Okay.
data and analytics is the way of the future. It's the way you move forward. It's the way you grow your business. So, it's anybody who has customers, who has data, to analyze, that's who I can help.
Okay, perfect. That makes sense. Now, what would you tell someone that isn't keeping their data? Like, what advice would you give them or question would you ask them about why they're not keeping their data?
Why don't you love yourself enough? No.
Okay. No, that's a good
Uh,
one, actually.
no, no, it's paramount. You can't pass this up. I know it's not fun. I know it doesn't seem important, but you can't miss this because right now the way the world works is that we're moving from a product-based, economy-based culture to an experience-based culture where people don't care. You can go on Amazon and buy the same product that you can buy for $400 in the store for $50. I've done
Mhm.
it with a blender. Instead of buying a Vitamix, I bought an $80 blender that does the same thing, right, on Amazon. And you can get it in 2 days. You can search for any product you want around the world and get it within a few days at the price that you want to pay for it. So the only reason that people shop with you is for the experience, is for the brand. So if you want to continue to build your brand, you have to take all of that data and information that customers are going to give you and turn it into something that's a meaningful experience for them. So you can't just say anymore like, oh, I don't need that information. Oh, I don't need to know that. No, you need to know all of it. And you need to turn it into something that means something so that so that you can use it to meet your customers' expectations. And then that's how you increase your sales.
Yeah, that's amazing advice. And I asked that question because unfortunately, I personally meet people on a regular basis that are not keeping their data. So I'm glad that you
You'd be
shared.
surprised.
Yeah, well,
How,
actually, I really was because I was like, people, and especially like the last couple people I've met, people are intentionally giving them data, right? It's not like like someone has an email list and they have to go out and work to get their data.
mhm,
Like this is someone that people are ordering from them and they're not keeping and I'm like, you have all this data. Like what are you doing with it? So I'm glad
exactly.
you mentioned
I
that.
actually
Okay.
have a client that I'm working with right now. Um, she has this large set of customers, and one thing I explained to her was that once you analyze the data, you can find out how you meet your customers' needs and how you compare against your competitors, right? And then that's how you find those areas in the market. So it's a map in my head, so that's why I'm
Yeah.
doing it.
No, 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 you're fine.
Um, that's why you find those areas in the market where you're not really competing with your competitors in the same way, and therefore you're the only competitor there. You're the only choice for your customer. That's how you build that brand, and now they don't want to switch. You create they call high switching costs, but you create those high switching costs where they don't want to switch brands because you're the only one that does exactly what they need.
That makes a lot of sense and definitely helps set them apart from their competitors. I like that. Thank you.
No problem.
What specific services do you offer? And I know you can't go through like everything in this short amount of time, but in general, if I am a potential client and I'm looking at your website or I'm listening to this video and I want to know how you can specifically help me. What services do you offer customers and entrepreneurs like myself?
So I do process improvement, strategy development, and ad hoc analysis. So if you just needed something analyzed, you don't really need all those other things, we can do that as well.
And kind of walk us through the process of working with you. So someone reaches out to you and they're like, I want to know more. Because I think, and I ask this question because a lot of times people are afraid, especially in communities of color. We're like, as soon as we reach out to that person, they're just going to try to sell us, right? You know, you go in a car dealership and they just like pounce. No one really wants that feeling unless it's appropriate to the situation. Like sometimes they're, like a car dealership, but it's kind of appropriate. Somebody might want to take a test drive. So what is the process of working with you? And also, if you can kind of explain what your brand consistency formula is, and someone that works with you and retains your services, what should they expect from working with you as a possible result?
Okay, great. So, firstly, I only work with people who I think it's valuable for.
Mm,
So, I have a policy that if I can explain something to you and then you can go do it, then you don't need my services. It's not going to be valuable to you, right? So, that could be somebody all the way at the bottom or all the way at the top. But if I can tell you what I can do in a single conversation and you can go handle it yourself, then you don't need to retain my services. You just need a direction.
that makes sense.
Um, Secondly, when you sign up with me, there's just what most people really have questions about, or what do they need to do, and I tell them mostly you just need to give me access to data so I can analyze it. Right? There's not really much else for you to do, and then I'll give you a bunch of reports and results. And the BC formula, as I like to call it,
Mhm.
if you want to download, you can go to bcformula.co and get the brand strategy playbook.
Oh, okay.
um,
Right.
so the brand strategy formula is a brand consistency formula. I'm sorry, is a system I created that helps you walk through the process of how customers buy today. Nobody wants to be advertised to anymore, and customers are becoming more efficient at ignoring social media ads. That's what's driving up the cost, as well as the increased competition for the uh, the amount of advertisers on the platform is going up. So therefore, the cost is going up because they can't sell any more eyeballs. They don't have any more eyeballs to sell ads to. So the brand consistency formula is all about creating a brand that your customers already want to buy from, that already meets their needs, that already solves their problem, that already emotionally connects to them, so that they build the affinity themselves, and that makes your advertising stronger.
Mm,
Then there's the second part about creating the customer experience. This is all about process improvement and developing the right technology and tools, and getting your employee and team on the same page as your brand to deliver a consistent experience. And then the last part is post purchase follow up. I can't talk this one.
you're good.
Post purchase follow up, which is about how do we re engage the customer and get them back to the top of the funnel and keep purchasing and create a loop to
Mm.
drive long term customer value.
Okay, very valuable, definitely. And we'll make sure that we post that URL that you mentioned, so they can grab that book uh, down in the show notes. And then just really quick, if someone, because you're totally right, there's certain people that are like, I just need some direction and I'll do it myself, right? Even though we really want to target the people that are like,
Mhm.
here, do it for me. But if there is someone that's kind of just needs some direction, do you offer like coaching or mentoring services where someone can kind of be like, hey, let me pick your brain, once a week or once a month, and then go out and do it and then get your feedback or things like that? Do you offer those services?
I don't offer a service per se, but if somebody reaches out to me and has a question, I don't have a problem answering. As long as I have time and energy, then I'll gladly assist.
Definitely. Well, we appreciate that. Okay, perfect. How did you determine there was a need for your business? Was it from working with the business you initially started with and then kind of branching out? Or did you know even before that, like, hey, there's something missing in the marketplace and I can kind of help fill that gap?
This is a passion of mine,
I
and
love
I
it.
love data. I'm a nerd at heart, and I love math and numbers and business. So it was just a passion. And once I saw how I had a kind of an epiphany where I realized that in order for people to move from poverty or low income or even lower middle class up into upper classes, the key was business. It was always going to be business. That's how our society is built. So I figured that why don't I give my brain power and energy and time towards helping people move away from poverty and live better lives.
That-
And those people who can move out of poverty will hire people who can they can then pay well who will also move out of poverty. So it has this multiplicative effect.
Exactly. Okay, perfect. Now I know that one of the things on your website is an assessment, which is an invaluable tool. I wish everyone kind of incorporate some sort of assessment in their business or their process. But assessments are valuable because, of course, they provide insight not only about your audience and they draw your audience in, but they also, give the customer some idea of what to expect from you or what information they can get from you. How did you come up with the assessment that's on your website, and how do you use that information?
Well, in all honesty, at first I stole it from somebody else.
Okay, that's hey,
Stole it
honesty.
from
And let
another.
me tell you something. I always tell people why recreate the wheel,
Yeah,
right? I
I
mean,
stole it
okay,
from a
okay,
competitor, put it on
okay,
my website. But over time, I've adjusted it to meet the needs of the clients that I work with and to better understand what those clients' needs are. The assessment is really designed to help them understand whether or not they're meeting their own understanding of customer experience in their company. I mean,
perfect. I like that. Okay. So, and this might seem like a weird place to ask this question, but have it here on purpose. What, in your opinion, is marketing? What does it mean? What is the purpose of it?
Marketing is the science of getting customers to do what you want them to do.
Love it.
As I said, it's about getting. Okay, I'm gonna try to say this right the first time. I always screw it up
Okay.
though. It's getting the right customer at the right time with the right product for the right price.
Okay.
There's more, but I screwed
Hold
up.
on. No, you
You
didn't.
get the
You
point.
actually
A lot of
hit the
rights.
nail right on the head. So I understand that because, of my background and experience too, but like, why do you think there's so much confusion with small business owners, entrepreneurs, prospective entrepreneurs, like the people out there about what marketing is and how they should use it in their business?
Because people are inherently visual. I think something like 80% of our uh, sensory perception comes from vision. So
Mm,
when people look at marketing, they automatically think advertising, and they don't
mm,
understand that advertising is a component of marketing. I deliberately use the word science when I talk about marketing because marketing is science. It's scientific. It's about research, data analytics, analyzing that data, finding insights, and then you take those insights and turn them into advertising. You turn them into communication. You turn them into copy. You turn them into things on your website that attract your customers. Your customers will never see the science.
okay.
And the visual part, the part that's fun is the advertising. That's the easy part. It's creative, right? And we all have our creative juices, and we love to get creative and do those types of things. But the math is a little harder.
Mm-hmm.
I find that most people don't like math. So when
Okay.
you tell them that they gotta figure out some averages, they start to get a little frustrated. So
Mhm.
inherently, I think that's the biggest problem is that people don't want to do the science part. They like the art part more.
I like that answer. And I don't know if you noticed, I kind of took a note because I was like, I'm gonna have to use that. So, but I think that you hit the nail right on the head, right? Like nobody wants like the school part of it. They just want the fun, the
Mhm.
homework part.
Exactly.
I like that. When it comes to your marketing strategy, which method has been the most effective for you? And that may have changed since you started your business. So just currently, what's the most effective strategy for you?
Referrals are always the best.
Okay.
Um, I'm trying to get away from referrals because referrals are
Mhm.
hard to scale, but
Okay.
referrals have always been the best method. And even if you build like a targeted referral strategy, that's
Hmm.
still pretty difficult. But at the same time, it's the best way to get customers because they already come ready for uh, they already come knowing exactly what they want from you, as opposed to a customer that you get through maybe a social media channel. You kind of have to educate them a little bit about what to expect from you.
Okay. So speaking of education, I know what a referral is, but sometimes I realize I assume and a lot of people don't.
Mhm.
So can you tell us exactly what is a referral?
So a referral is somebody that you know or somebody that knows of you and your brand that recommends you to a potential client. So maybe they saw your post online and they said, "Hey, this guy probably knows." You heard them talking. You heard a friend talking, and they were telling you about a problem they have, and something in your brain clicked and said, "Hey, this guy probably knows how to help you solve that problem." That was you referring your client, your friend, to that person.
Okay, perfect. Thank you so much. I always like to ask that to people to kind of help prove my point. I always kind of tell people, I'm like, if someone says I need a realtor on Facebook and you have no idea who that person is and you tag me, that is not a referral because you don't know who they are. And I am
Exactly.
not a realtor. So clearly you didn't know what I did either. So thank you.
Exactly. You gotta have
Exactly.
some frame of reference on this person. Maybe this person is somebody you've been following for a long time, and you like their content, and you feel like they're competent and capable of solving the problem. The whole idea is that the person that you're sending is your friend, and you don't want to send your friend to someone who you don't know can help them.
Exactly. Perfect. Thank you so much for elaborating that. Every time, so I always kind of make sure that our audience that's listening knows that from this show, they'll not only find out about amazing entrepreneurs such as
Mm-hmm.
yourself and your business, so they can
Thank you.
hopefully support you and share you, but they'll actually get information that a lot of times isn't um widely talked about, right?
Mm-hmm.
We always kind of, when you see those things on social media or in the news or on TV, they always kind of assume we know what things mean. So thank
Yeah,
you for helping to
no
explain.
problem.
Okay, so You mentioned referrals, which I am a huge advocate for the exchange of warm referrals. And like you said, building a network in order to get those referrals. And work networks also help that if I give you one, it means that I know you're going to actually take care of that referral, right? You're
Mhm.
not just going to let it sit in your mailbox and treat them like trash.
Yeah.
Um, so, is networking and attending like networking events or functions or just connecting with other entrepreneurs on social media or online in their inbox. Um, are networking methods and strategies with other entrepreneurs important to you in your business? And if so, why? And if not, why not?
I'm a consultant. That's how we live. That's how we eat.
Okay.
Networking is everything. So consulting, the hardest part about learning to open a consulting business, so I told you I came from an agency. So
Mhm.
working in an agency where you have built-in referrals because the client comes to you and then you help the client and then they need more help. So you say, okay, hey, I work privately also, right? That was pretty easy. But when you go solo, then you got to figure out how to get those clients coming to yourself, and then that's when you learn, hey, if you don't network and build relationships, you have nothing. People don't buy consulting services because you advertise them a lot. They buy it because they have some sort of relationship and trust with you. So networking is paramount. And for anybody who's wondering, consulting is not just people like me who crunch numbers. If you provide a service to a business, then you're a consultant on some level. Even if
Exactly.
you provide, if you give a service to a consumer, to a household, you could be a consultant. It's really just selling your knowledge and skills. So,
Perfect. Yeah. Thank you. I appreciate you explaining that as well, because that is another one of those terms where we're
mhm,
like, what's a consultant and what do they do and how do I start it? So I appreciate
yeah,
that, as well as the fact that you mentioned the importance of those business connections, because a lot of times we don't realize when we work at our job, like some of us really just go to work, do our job and go home. We're not really in those conversations or paying attention to those conversations with the CEO or our managers
hmm,
and realize like for example, prime example, I used to work in purchasing, and half, more than half probably, of the vendors that supplied our products were people that our managers were taking out to lunch, and they were building a relationship. Their kids were hanging out, and then they would introduce them to their friends, and then that friend became a vendor for this other thing.
hmm,
A lot of our businesses that are out there, not our businesses, a lot of the businesses that are out there that are not owned by people of color are built based on relationships
all
and
of them,
referrals. Yeah.
all of
So
them.
I wish more and more people realize that. So I'm glad that you brought that up as
Yeah,
something that you
and I
saw.
even say, when my first little business was a web design
Mhm.
company, and the people that I worked for, the first person I worked with in my own web design company, like I subcontracted with him. He told me he
Mhm.
never advertised his business ever.
Hmm.
He said that
Okay.
he got his first referral from his girlfriend's father and
Yep.
that he's been getting referrals ever since. When I
Yeah.
started working at that agency, my boss told me he had an outside agency as well. He had his outside consulting work as well. So he told me he's never advertised his consulting services. He said
Yeah.
he did one project with somebody who heard that he can do this kind of stuff. And he said since then he's just gotten referrals. So
Yeah.
I find that as an entrepreneur of color, that's something that we have difficulty with. That you can help somebody, and then now the pipeline stops. I was like, and I've worked with several, non uh, non-black entrepreneurs
Yeah.
because there are people of color,
Allies.
but
Yeah.
yeah, but they don't have the same issue we have with that. The referrals
Exactly.
just keep coming. They keep sharing information amongst each other, and that's how they continue to grow together.
Yeah, exactly. I'm glad you mentioned that as well, because that is one of the things that here, a quick plug, right? For the Black
Mhm,
Entrepreneurs Network, that is really one of the reasons that I started it because some people don't know what referrals are. And then the ones that do, like you said, we're like, I gave you one, I'm good. And I'm like, no, it has to be an ongoing
mhm.
process. So you're exactly right.
Yeah, and I think I know for my business, it doesn't make sense in every instance, but in my business, if you send me a referral, I got you with something. You know,
See,
there's a little,
appreciate that.
there's a little, something on the side that you finna get.
Yeah.
It might
So
just
that
be a
makes a
bottle of
difference.
wine and some cheese, but it's gonna be something.
Yeah, and that makes a huge difference, right? Because it shows you
Exactly,
really appreciate it, and it's going to incentivize me to give you more referrals,
exactly. It's
definitely.
always about reciprocity.
Exactly.
You know,
Okay,
sharing the
perfect.
love.
Yep, I was gonna say we need to put that on a shirt. All right. I'm good for putting like slogans and stuff on shirts. Okay. Um, so uh sorry, I'm gonna make sense. Okay. When customers or potential customer, or really probably customers, because potential customers would or clients, sorry. When they think of you and your business, what's one word you would ideally like them to use to describe the experience of working with you?
I actually have this on my website. It's a Latin word, which they'll never use, but it's okay.
Okay.
Called Ne Plus Ultra. It stands for the highest, most exalted version of its kind. So it
Oh,
means that if
okay.
you are, it basically just being the absolute best that you're capable of being. So
Okay.
that's why I put it on my website. That's what I believe I'm trying to help my clients do. Like we may never be the biggest, you know, soul food restaurant on the block, but if you're the absolute best version of your business every single day, then your customers are going to show up regardless of what you do. So that's what I would
Okay.
hope that they associate with me.
Um, Now, tell us about a time, because I always like to give people the positive of being an entrepreneur and sometimes the not so positive, where you had to give less than desirable results or information to one of your clients. Like, how did you do it? And you don't have to tell us specifically like the client or situation, but just we want to kind of get, your method of communication style. So, how were you able to share that information with them so that they understood that it was less than desirable and maybe there were some action items?
Oh well, I'm a straight shooter. I think that's my I think that's my actual role is not to come in and give you the nice and sweet of everything, but to give you the honest and clear of everything. Because if I don't give you the honest and clear and straight up, then you can't improve it. The other day, I had to tell a client that his expansion plan shouldn't be executed in the way that he thinks it should right now. That he should actually focus on, maybe developing more concepts and more stores before he actually executes that plan. And the reason why is because he just didn't have his processes in order at the time. And I could tell you in a nice way, like maybe you should think about it, but then you're not going to get the severity of what I'm trying to explain to you. And then, a year later, 2 years later, when things are when things are where I think they may be, hopefully
Mhm.
I'm wrong. I always hope I'm wrong about these things, but if you take that action and things are where I think they will be, then you're gonna still look back at me and say you didn't help me, right? So I would much rather you look at me and say I can't stand talking to that guy because he's always saying this thing that bothers me, than to for me to have to say that no, I didn't give you the help that you paid for, that you deserved, that you asked for. So
Yeah, absolutely. It's always important to me, to get people that are going to tell you the truth, right? Even if
mhm.
it hurts, it's going to make you improve. So, absolutely. Okay. And sometimes we go through a lot of emotions as an entrepreneur, including frustration. What motivates you to keep going in your business?
I have a 13-year-old daughter, and
That, that is
I
good
have a
enough.
13-year-old daughter, and I have a 19-month-old nephew. Some people get bothered when you say the months, but I'm going to say the months till he's 2.
I think you're supposed to say the
Um,
months till they're 24 months, so you're good.
exactly. Once he's 2, I'll stop saying the months. I have a 19-month-old nephew and a 2-month-old nephew.
Okay.
And my whole goal is to make sure that they never have to deal with some of the struggles that a lot of us have had to deal with. I want to provide them all the choices in the world. And as well as I want to make sure my dad's taken care of, my mom's taken care of. So I get up every day and deal with the things I deal with to make sure that that happens for them. And the other thing is, I love challenges. I wouldn't be who I am if I didn't like embrace the challenges of things. So when things get hard, I can't let it go until I figure it out. I don't like to feel like I was defeated by something. So that's also a motivator for me.
Definitely. Amazing motivator. Thank you. And
Mhm.
your family definitely will keep you focused. So,
Yeah.
okay, perfect. There's a lot of marketing on social media. So, from what you see on a regular basis, what do you wish entrepreneurs either knew about marketing or improving their marketing on social media, or like how what would you advise them to do different to get their desired results? And kind of, I mean, this what you're going to say could really be applicable to any business, but if there's something specific, especially for entrepreneur of color, kind of maybe keep that in mind as your frame of reference.
Okay, so I'll do it in two phases then. So the first thing is that as a business owner, you have to learn that this is not about you. Yes, it's your business. Yes, you get to make a lot of decisions, but it's not about you. And the first thing you have to learn is to let go of your ego and to
Mm,
do the things that customers want you to do in the way that you want to do them, right? So if you want to sell underwater basket weaving services and your customers and you want to do it at a specific location and your customers require the pool to be uh, precisely 75 degrees and that place doesn't have a temperature, you can't, it's not about you saying, oh, I can't afford the place at a temperature. You got to figure out how to make that work,
okay.
right? Because you saying you can't afford it, you saying you can't figure it out, you saying it doesn't work is all your ego. It's all you
Okay.
telling you how important you are and how you can't figure this part out. You signed up to be an entrepreneur, and the main thing that we do is figure out problems. So solve that problem, give your customers what you want. It's not about you. Okay. For entrepreneurs of color, I will say that nobody's coming. Okay. That's the thing you got to learn. Nobody's coming. It don't mean we don't love you, but you got to actually put out something people like, and you got to put out something that's high quality, and you got to do. Yeah, we're gonna support, right? We love you. We're gonna support, but that support that you're looking for is only gonna happen once. Because after you've
Exactly.
been an entrepreneur for a week or two, right? We're not going to keep congratulating you for being an entrepreneur. We're going to congratulate you once on opening your LLC. We're going to congratulate you once on opening your bank account. We're going to congratulate you once on launching your first product. But after that, you got to get out here just like everybody else and market your services, right? And you got to do it relentlessly. The key core advice that I've been giving people every day is that no matter how you feel every day, you need to have a few activities that you do every day religiously. Doesn't matter how you feel, doesn't matter what's going on. There have to be little simple tasks that you take care of that move your business forward. So if it's, I told my friend the other day, sometimes you see me just put out a stupid post on social media. Like Tia, you saw a post on social media. It's not really always about me giving the best business advice. It's really just about me staying top of mind. So when customers see it or potential clients see it, they remember, oh, this guy does this, and he's like, oh, this is a stupid picture of his selfies, but it still
So,
reminds them that I was there. So I do it all the time just to make sure I
right.
do it religiously. I send my email list now, right? I send an email to them. I write the email and send it to just to keep myself top of mind, even if it's not good. I just send it. So
Yeah.
right? So reduce your ego
So
and just remember nobody's coming to help you. It's all
great.
on you. Go get it done. Don't complain about it. Just get it done.
Yeah, I love it. Great feedback. Yeah, because I will say, for sure, your messaging online definitely prompts people to want to know more, right? Want to
Mm-hmm.
know more about you as a entrepreneur and, as a person, like, oh, okay, this is interesting. And, being consistent is super important. So
Yes.
yeah, no, I definitely applaud you. So speaking of social media, where can we find you? And I'll make sure I post this in the show notes, but I want to give you an opportunity to share what platforms are you on and what's your username?
Mainly on Instagram is Daquan M Hall. If you find me on Facebook, feel free to add me as a friend, Daquan Hall. Just like
Okay.
down there, my name somewhere down there.
Yeah.
And then on LinkedIn also, Daquan Hall. So if you find me on there, just go ahead and connect. I'll connect with you. I don't have a problem with that.
Perfect. Okay. Yeah, we definitely want to encourage everyone to connect, not only just to learn, like I said, about you, but learn about your business. And I would just let everyone know, right? Like, we need to start forming the habit of supporting our entrepreneurs the same way that we support our celebrities or want people even just to support us, right? Like, it is super free to hit the connect button
Mm-hmm.
or the like button or the follow
Mm-hmm.
button and engage and share because there is someone that even if they're listening to this, there might be like, oh, I don't have data. I'm a new business or I'm an online business and Daquan can't necessarily work with me. They know somebody in their community, right, has a franchise or a business or needs help. And they don't know where to go. So if they don't share it, that person can't find you.
Well,
So okay.
quick side note on that.
Yeah,
If you are a new business or you're in that situation where you think I can't help you, that's the reason that I take questions and answer
perfect.
questions.
Yeah,
Because yeah, there's certain things I can't do for you, but it's more so about affordability. It just doesn't make sense for you in the moment.
mhm,
So if my services are $5,000 and your business isn't even making sales right now, your business can't afford to pay for that. So I'm not
mhm,
gonna sell you a service that your business can't afford to pay for because that's just bad finance. And I know that, and you may not know that now,
mhm.
right? So being that you're just starting out, you may not know how to handle the finance of the business, but I know that's bad financial management. So I'm not going to set you up for that. But I'll
Okay,
take the question because at the moment, maybe you don't have data, but you need to set yourself up to have data when it is time to hire somebody like me, right?
exactly.
Whether or
Thank
not
you.
it
That is
is
so
me.
important. Yeah, no, that is so important that you're open to those questions because there are a lot of people that need to get to that point and they need someone to help guide them. So
Yep.
thank you. I definitely encourage everyone to reach out to you. Okay, so I know you mentioned that you have your brain consistency, that book that you mentioned earlier. Is that a physical book or ebook?
It's a PDF download.
Okay, perfect.
So it's
So we'll make
the
sure.
brand. Oh, I'm sorry.
I'm sorry. No, you're good. Go ahead.
It's the brand strategy playbook. So on the website, you'll see that there's six. There's a video that explains the six pillars of brand strategy, of my six pillars of brand strategy, and then the playbook helps you work through those six pillars to create your own brand.
Okay, perfect. So yeah, we definitely want to make sure people download that. Or is there anything else that we should let them know that you have available? I know you mentioned that you do have a subscriber list. So if they go to your website, they can
Mm-hmm.
subscribe to your newsletter. Is that correct? Okay.
Yep.
Do you have any events or any challenges or anything like that that you'd like to share with us?
Um. Well, if you wanted some more free tools, if you go to my company website, which is learner m like Mary, g like Gary.com, backslash free dash tools, then there's a list of different tools that you can use to analyze your business or kind of help you work through some thought processes. uh and if for challenges, I just want to tell you, always just keep going no matter
Love
what
it.
you do. I
Yeah.
was talking to my mom the other night, and I told her I have this saying that I tell people, that a blind squirrel will find a nut at some point, right? As long as you're willing to keep looking, you just want to keep fumbling around, eventually you're going to find one. So if you are not willing to give up, then eventually you'll be successful. Just never quit. Just do
Good
something
stuff.
every day, one little step, no matter what it is, no matter how small it is. Take one little step forward. Uh, or even, can I elaborate? Do we have enough time?
Yeah, no, you're good.
So, I had this a few months ago. I came up with this strategy on LinkedIn, and when I first started out, everybody talked about outreach, and they talked
Okay.
about you need to send 200 emails a day. I'm not
Mm-hmm.
really a person that likes talking to people in the first place, so sending 200 emails a day just didn't make sense to me. But I tried, right?
Okay.
So the
Okay.
problem with sending emails in mass is that you can't be substantive. You can't be personal. You got
Mhm.
to just send a whole bunch of emails, and nobody cares about that. Everybody's used to getting those things, so they don't care. So what I've learned over time is that small effort is actually better than trying to complete a huge effort. And I even did the math on it, and I said, okay, well, if I just talk to one person a day, 5 days a
Mm.
week, right? Instead of trying to talk to 200 people a day, which is 1,000 people in a week, I still get 4 new clients every month,
Love it.
right?
That's
Versus
true.
talking to 1,000 people and you hope for maybe one, right?
Right.
You still get 4 because you were able to be very personal and connect with that person on a human level as opposed to just, blasting out a bunch of stuff and hoping for the best.
Yeah. I love that strategy. It's very personable and it's valuable.
Mhm.
Like you said, it's valuable to you because it results in, of course, more clients, but it's valuable to to me as a potential client because it means you're going to take the time to get to know me and my needs.
Exactly.
So I love you. Thank you so much for sharing that
No problem. And
strategy.
it's better for
Um,
you as an entrepreneur with your mental health.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I mean, I'm kind of with you. Like sometimes you don't feel like talking to a ton of people, and
Hmm.
especially if it's talking to them just for the sake of talking to them.
Exactly.
Uh, it's
Exactly.
like God. Then it really starts to feel like work, and I think that's when people like fall off with their consistency.
Exactly.
So that is great that
Yeah,
I
your
know that
business
I'm
shouldn't
going
be
to talk to people.
your
I'm
business
sorry.
shouldn't
Go ahead.
feel like your business shouldn't feel like a grind.
Exactly.
Not forever.
Definitely.
Maybe at first, but not forever. It's not
Yeah,
supposed to always feel like a grind. It's supposed to feel like something you enjoy doing, something you supposed to feel more free being in your business than you did at work. So
exactly.
even if you're working
Yeah.
harder, so
And that strategy that you shared is definitely going to make me feel like I'm being more productive, when I'm
exactly.
having those conversations as well. So, great. Again, I love that strategy and the fact that you share that. So, thank you so much. I know people will get amazing value, well, from this entire video, but definitely from just that strategy alone. And it's something that I know I'm personally going to share in one of our upcoming networking events. Like, guess what I just heard? I think you all should do this. So, thank you
No problem.
on many levels. All right. Well, this has been an amazing interview, and I appreciate the time that you spent talking to me, talking to our Entrepreneur Insider audience. And again, I'm going to encourage everyone to connect with Daquan, connect with his business, learn more about Learner Market Group LLC, like him, share him with your audience. And definitely, if you have questions, we have a professional entrepreneur right here, a man of color that is willing to say he's willing to answer your questions without selling you anything, right? So, now, of course, don't go to him saying, like, I want some stuff for free, and you really aren't his target audience. But if he can answer something to help guide you, or somebody in your community can, he can help them, definitely like him, share him, connect with him. All of his information will be posted in the show notes down below. And as we close again, I just want to thank you, Daquan. This was an amazing interview.
It was
We
my
got a
pleasure.
lot of great takeaways. So I hope you
Thank
have a
you.
great
Thank you
day.
for having
Yeah,
me.
you're welcome. Take care.
Bye.
For more information about Daquan, be sure to check out the show notes down below. He has amazing services that can help you with your business. Be sure to like and share him within your community, because I promise you, even if you don't need his services, you know someone who does. This episode was brought to you by Cognac Black. If you're a man with swag or you happen to be shopping for one, definitely check out their website. They have some amazing holiday deals coming up. So pamper the men or pamper yourself with the Cognac Black. Now, if you'd like to sponsor an upcoming episode or be featured, reach out to me. My email is info@theblackentrepreneurssnetwork.com. As always, this show is brought to you in partnership with Relationship Entertainment Television. If you haven't subscribed, be sure to do so today. Hit that red button at the bottom right of your screen. And while you're there, hit the bell so you're notified when new episodes of this show, Entrepreneur Insider, premieres every Thursday at 6 p.m. Eastern. Now, until next time, don't forget, be great.